Harvester Steve, look at, we're on the clock or are we off the clock?
It's time, right here, man. Look at my Rolex.
We're on the clock.
We're on the clock.
Head Harvester Bill Arman here from the West Coast.
Hi everybody, I'm Steve Cesare, Head Harvester for Human Resources.
And the topic today, on the clock or off the clock? And you had an example you're sharing with me a little earlier. Share with our audience.
Yeah, hi everybody. I've had a lot of calls lately about employees working off the clock, so I thought we just would walk through some of those common procedures for you. First, just make sure that if you're non-exempt hourly employees, you have to pay them for every time that they're working. So if they're working before their shift begins, you have to pay them for that time. For loading a truck, putting a burlap on, starting up a vehicle, you have to pay them for that time before they get to their first job of the day. So keep in mind, if they're working off the clock before the shift, you have to pay them for that time.
So they're on the clock?
They're really on the clock. Okay. Even though their shift may start at 7:30, if they're loading up a vehicle at 7:15, you have to pay them for that time.
Sometimes people have foremen doing that. Does that the same apply?
Same applies to them.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly right. Second point is, a lot of state laws are now passing duty-free meal periods. So that means when you give a non-exempt employee a meal period, that employee can do absolutely no work. I've had a couple of calls lately. Can I have my foreman drive a truck during the meal period and not pay him for it? The answer is no, because you're controlling his time. So even if somebody's on the meal period and they're driving a company vehicle, you have to pay them for that time as well.
So what if they're going to get in the truck and drive off to get a sandwich or something? When's that time start? At lunchtime?
When they stop when they stop being under the control of the organization. Whenever they stop the vehicle and walk to their meal period.
Okay.
Third point is this, everybody. A couple of guys have called me lately and said, basically, well, we have our foreman meetings after the workday, and I go, what does after the workday mean? And they said, well, the shift ends at 3:30, and then we have a meeting from 3:30 to 4:30 where we give them pizza or whatever. And I said, are you paying them for that? And they said, no, that's not work time.
That's on the clock too?
That's on the clock
too. Pizza time?
Pizza time.
Aye, aye, aye.
There are 4 rules for meetings, everybody. The first is the meeting has to be, you don't pay them if it's voluntary. Second, it has to be after the work time. Third, it can't be part of the employee's job. And fourth, the employee can do no work. So if any one of those 4 features aren't true, you have to pay them for that time. And the last one is this. I've had a couple guys call me lately about new employee orientation programs where they'll send their employees through the first day of orientation on Monday to do their I-9s and their handbooks and all that stuff.
They're not working though.
And you have to pay them for that time.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Because that's exactly what they think. Well, they're not working, so I don't have to pay them. That's admin time.
Paying for that too.
But you still have to pay them for that time too. So even though they're not technically working out in the field doing production work, you have to pay them for that time because they're under the control of the organization. So please make sure you pay your guys for all time worked before, during, after their shift. It's really important, everybody.
Boy, that's good information to know, Harvester Steve. HR expert Harvester Steve right here at your service. Just look down below. He loves this stuff, let me tell you. And he's
call me anytime.
He's really, really good at it. When he says call me anytime, he means anytime. Head Harvester Bill Arman from the West Coast.
Head Harvester for Human Resources, Steve Cesare.
Now let's get back on the clock, shall we?
I'm overtime.
You're on the time? I gotta pay you overtime?
Right now, cash.